CNN just dropped a bombshell on one of Donald Trump's many executive orders. It's one of those orders designed to make white nationalism great again, and even those in his corner are expressing concerns, and I have all the details for you next. Before I share the breaking story, please allow me to set the stage with this report on what Mayor McFlurry did from his high chair within moments of taking office. And since I already mentioned his not-so-subtle white nationalism agenda, please count for yourself which executive orders are in alignment with that.
President-elect Donald Trump is expected to sign more than 200 executive orders today, right after he assumes office.
Every radical and foolish executive order of the Biden administration will be repealed within hours of when I take the oath of office. Oh, you're going to have a lot of fun watching television tomorrow. Somebody said yesterday, sir, don't sign so many in one day. Let's do it over a period of weeks. I said, like hell, we're going to do it over weeks. We're going to sign them at the beginning.
The first wave of these actions will focus on securing the U.S. border, ending federal DEI programs, changing energy policies, and establishing a new Department of Government Efficiency hiring freeze, according to Fox News. Trump will also mandate that federal workers return to the office, end the electric vehicle mandate, abolish the Green New Deal, and withdraw from the Paris Climate Accords. He also plans to sign an order to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and rename Denali, the mountain in Alaska. We're going to call it Mount McKinley once again. That was the name of the mountain until 2015.
Mark Chadbourne posted to Blue Sky.
And then there was the executive order to end birthright citizenship, and that's at the heart of today's story. Have a listen to this excellent breakdown of what it means and if it can survive. And on the other side, I'll share the news that Donald Trump is likely to lose his oddly bronzed head over.
There's going to be a lot of different things the president will try to do by executive orders. Some of them he's allowed to do because if there's something within his particular power, he can change it. However, a constitutional provision cannot be changed by an executive order.
Michael Meyerson is a professor at the University of Baltimore Law School. President Trump has signed an executive order that would end birthright citizenship.
The Constitution of the United States says that if you are born on our soil and you are not the child of an ambassador, you are an American citizen. Simply put, if you are born here, you belong here. That's been the rule from the 14th Amendment right after the Civil War. Supreme Court confirmed that in the 1890s. So the president wants to issue an order saying, I don't like this. I want to get rid of all these kids born here if their parents weren't citizens, and the president has no power to do that.
President Trump did acknowledge that this will be challenged in court. On top of that, he also signed executive orders that label drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations and another declaring a national emergency at the southern border.
The moment he tries to enforce it, or even there's a threat of enforcing it, someone will sue in court and say very simply, the president does not have the power to make this rule by himself.
He says it's something that could make it all the way to the Supreme Court.
So it would go to court, a district court in all likelihood, and whoever loses will appeal. And one of the realities of this moment in American history is we're not sure what the Supreme Court will do.
And on the heels of the news, CNN did that thing they do really well, measure and explain public opinion. And the opinion of the general public and even many Republicans reflects a rejection of this order, an order that reeks of hypocrisy and bigotry.
I mean, look, I think Donald Trump is, by pushing policies like this, are just trying to eliminate his honeymoon period completely, because this is just not a popular policy. End birthright citizenship for children born to immigrants illegally here. Look at this. Just 35% support. The clear majority, 53% oppose. And I've looked at multiple polls, looked at the question asked multiple different ways. If anything, this undersells the opposition by a little bit. If you don't, in fact, mention for children born to immigrants here legally and just ask about ending birthright citizenship, the opposition shoots all the way up to about 70%. But this 53% is clearly indicative of a country that does not want to end birthright citizenship. Simply put, this is not a popular policy, and if Donald Trump pushes policies like this, his honeymoon period will squeeze and be even shorter than it was back in 2017.
What about bi-party? What are you seeing there?
Yeah, so you might expect that Republicans would overwhelmingly support this. Now, the majority do support ending birthright citizenship. but it's only 56%. It's only 56%. Donald Trump's approval rating among Republicans, I assure you, when the first poll comes out of his presidency, will be much closer to 90%. So he is losing about 35% of Republicans on this particular question. You look at Democrats, it's just 21%. You look at independents, it's just 19%. The bottom line is the base, a large chunk of the Republican base, abandons Donald Trump on this question of supporting an end to birthright citizenship. And Democrats and independents, simply put, don't like it. Trump would be much better off focusing on lowering taxes, on cracking down on immigrants who are here illegally and have committed crimes. That is a much more popular policy. Support ending birthright citizenship, Sarah Seidner, simply put, is not popular.
All right, Harry Enton, very clear this morning on this Tuesday.
I'm trying.
Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship is so deeply flawed, it's hard to decide where to begin in deconstructing it. Do I begin with his own family history that undermines his stance? After all, Trump himself is the grandson of an immigrant, and he married 2 women who were immigrants, and all but one of his children benefited from the very principles of citizenship that he seeks to undermine. Or do I pick up where I left off and state the obvious? The rhetoric surrounding birthright citizenship is an attack on Latino immigrants and other people of color. He has never referred to Europeans, that is Caucasian immigrants, as vermin or invaders. This move is just his latest effort to dehumanize and vilify minorities. By pushing a policy that clearly conflicts with his own family history, Trump opens himself up to the accurate accusations of hypocrisy and racism. Now, Republicans won't find the intellectual honesty to use those exact words, but the disagreement reflected in the CNN poll shows that not everyone has answered the call to this dog whistle.